Bree from Rising Tide, and this video is going to be a walkthrough of the appearance settings within the advanced settings in Halo. A lot of these settings will be just based on preference, whatever you choose, but I will show you the behavior of how each of the settings work so that you can make a more informed decision on which setting will be right for your setup. So let's get into it. The first setting that we have here is the application color. This setting will be the default for any new agents that you add to your Halo. Any agent can come in if they have the setting to adjust their preferences. They can come in and they can change their application color as well as their navigation menu color and a few other settings that we'll describe here in the appearance settings. But if you want there to be a default for everybody as soon as they sign on, this is where you're going to set the color in the advanced settings. So you can change the application color. These can also be custom. You are not limited to the colors that are by default here. So you could put in the hex codes or the RGB codes, and you can just edit those right from here. This next setting only show icons for action buttons on mobile. This is helpful if somebody is using Halo on their phone instead of having the full button name for the action. If they just have the icon, it is a lot easier to navigate the mobile app. Always show menu when opening a new tab. This is helpful just so you don't get stuck within whatever area that opened up the new tab. You can always navigate to a different area if you have this turned on. The navigation menu display is how these buttons over here, the areas, look on the navigation menu. You can have small icons, so this will make those small. They are not labeled. You can make them large icons. They're still not labeled, and you can have large icons with labels. It's helpful to have the labels as you're just starting out if you're new to Halo so that it is faster to navigate. Just the same as you can change the application color, you can set a custom navigation menu color. It doesn't have to be the same color. You'll just want to make sure that the colors look good together. So as you can see highlighted, we're in the configuration area. So it's a darker navy blue, and this color, it's like a bluish teal color that I have for the navigation menu. These next two settings, the decimal separator and thousandths separator, by default, they're set to the default server settings. There was a bug that might still be a bug that if you don't actually have them set, that it might not be able to grab them from the server. So it's always a good idea just to go ahead and set these away from their default setting. These next two settings to display a new ticket button or new call button in the navigation bar, we don't usually recommend because depending on which area that you are in, it's going to look different when you create a new ticket. So I'm going to go to my opportunities area, and if you see here, when I look at creating a new opportunity, this is going to look very different than creating a new ticket using the navigation bar ticket. So to make things less confusing, we recommend just keeping these turned off. The browser tab name should always be set to rename the tabs based on breadcrumbs. So that is where on the top here of your browser tab, it'll show you where you are in Halo. If you have these set to do not rename, all of your tabs are just going to be called HaloPSA, and as many tabs as Halo opens up in random places, you'll want these set to rename based on breadcrumb. The dark theme note display is best to be set as a light background. So if you are copying, pasting maybe, and sending emails to your clients, you can see what the email will look like if it's on a light background. If you have it set to the dark background, there may be some display issues, and it even notes right here. This is what it looks like, but it's best to have this set to light background for notes, which is here. The Show KB guide links against each setting where available. Every time you click one of these little information buttons, it will take you to that setting within the Halo guide if the setting exists in their guides. So that is really helpful to have. The next setting, the Halo UI style. It's best to have this just on the Halo 2025 version. It is a much cleaner look. I'll show you what it looks like in the legacy mode. It should automatically take us here and refresh, and it is still looks nice. It's just not as good if you go to a ticket. It is a very boxy interface. The new interface, we have rounder corners, and it just looks a little bit nicer in my opinion. The default tree menu display. So this is any of the tree menus that come outside of the navigation menu. If you have it undocked, it will look like this, but if you have it as part of the navigation menu and we refresh, you can see what it looks like. It makes it all blue and makes it more of an extension. We also do lose some of the functionality. We don't get to use the multiple tabs, Halo tabs per browser tab. So I would recommend keeping this on. So for that next setting, we can use multiple Halo tabs per browser tabs. So that looks like this. You can have all different kinds of tabs within Halo, and you can navigate them without having new browser tabs open. Along with this, you can customize the Halo tab and where it goes. So by default, it's going to go to the Halo home screen. That's where you can see whatever default dashboard that you have here, and you can navigate wherever. But if you wanted to have a default tab that it opens within, you can set it to clients or wherever might make sense. This settings to allow widgets throughout the app to pop out on hover. It's not a good setting. It makes things move around and it is a little weird. You can see how it kind of moves this screen here, and it's not a very good experience to have this on. The main screen page size, this will control how many items show up within a screen before you have to switch to a new page. By default, this is set to 50, but if you have multiple tickets at a time, or especially within the assets area, you might want to turn this up a little bit. I have it on 100. The default list preview mode will affect what happens to the tree menu when you click into a ticket. So I'll show how each of these work. I'll have to open up within a new agent to be able to see this properly. So if we have this just show in the tree menu, this is what it looks like. I'm going to impersonate Harry Potter. So when we open up a ticket, we'll see that we have the full ticket screen here, we have the tree menu here, and everything is in the same page together. If we switch this to hide the tree menu, so when you click into a ticket, it's going to automatically hide that tree menu display, so you can't really switch to any other teams without having to click backwards. If you then set it to show a smaller details window alongside the list, I'll show you what that looks like. So now when you open a ticket, it almost gives you a split screen between the ticket that you can expand, and also you can choose a different ticket while also being able to see the full details here. Now, if we go in and set this to open in a new Halo tab, it does require the Halo tab display to have multiple Halo tabs per browser tab. You can see it will just open a new browser tab for when you open up a ticket. And we can see that here it will just open up a new browser tab. You can go back and it'll open up another one for each ticket that you click into. This next setting, the default pop-out display for new agents, is pretty self-explanatory. You can either open up in a new pop-out window, a new browser tab, within a modal window where possible, or the Halo tab. This next setting about table bulk select checkbox positions, I'll show you what it looks like on the left side. If you're in an area that has the checkboxes and you can bulk edit, you have a lot of different options here, and those checkboxes always show up. If you have this set to the right side, I don't like this because they will only show up if you hover over them. And the last setting within our appearance advanced settings is the tree menu width. The 298 pixels is probably more than enough, but I'll show you what it looks like if you were to change this. And we refresh, we made it 100, so that is way too small. We can't even expand it for any reason. If we change this to something like 500, you'll see it'll probably be way too much. It expands it way more than it needs to be. So the default 298 is probably perfect, but you can change that if you would wish. And that is it for the advanced settings. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, please put those in the comments below. Thanks.